In the warm, still waters of ponds, lakes, and artificial reservoirs across Asia, Africa, and Latin America, something remarkable is happening. Millions upon millions of fish are gliding just below the surface, calm, silent, yet forming one of the most powerful food industries on the planet. This is the story of tilapia, a fish once known as the poor man's protein, now farmed in staggering numbers, over 6 million metric tons a year, feeding families from Cairo to California. But behind its mild flavor and affordable price lies a complex global machine, a network of farmers, scientists, and processing plants all working in perfect rhythm. Today, we're diving deep into that world, from the hatcheries where new life begins, to the high-tech processing plants that transform humble fish into one of the world's most consumed seafoods. We'll uncover how tilapia became a global food icon, and why some call it both a miracle of aquaculture and a warning sign for the future of industrial fish farming. So grab your gear and join me as we step inside the tilapia industry to see how millions of these resilient fish are farmed and processed for meat. But first, how did we even get here? How did this ancient river fish become one of the modern world's most important sources of protein? Long before tilapia became a supermarket staple, it swam in the sacred waters of the Nile. Ancient Egyptian murals, some more than 3,000 years old, depict tilapia alongside hieroglyphs, symbolizing rebirth and abundance. To the ancient world, this wasn't just food, it was a symbol of life itself. As centuries passed, tilapia remained a humble, local fish, easy to catch, easy to breed, and most importantly, easy to eat. But it wasn't until the mid-20th century that scientists realized something extraordinary. Tilapia could thrive almost anywhere. Freshwater, brackish ponds, even low-oxygen environments that would kill most other fish. It grew quickly, reproduced efficiently, and could be fed on simple, plant-based diets. That single discovery, that tilapia could be farm-raised affordably and sustainably, changed everything. By the 1980s and 90s, countries across Asia and Latin America began building aquaculture systems designed entirely around it. China, with its vast inland water resources, soon became the undisputed leader, producing over a third of the world's supply. Thailand, Indonesia, Egypt, and Brazil followed, turning tilapia into a cornerstone of food security for developing economies. What began as an ancient river fish had now become a global agricultural phenomenon, the chicken of the water, as some like to call it. But how does that ancient symbol of life transform into the neatly packaged fillets we see in grocery stores today? Let's go behind the scenes, to the farms where millions of tilapia are raised, harvested, and prepared for the global market. At sunrise, the water comes alive. Farmers wade through shallow ponds, checking nets, measuring oxygen levels, and scattering feed like rain over the surface. This is the rhythm of modern tilapia farming, a blend of tradition, patience, and technology. Most tilapia start their lives in hatcheries, carefully controlled facilities where breeding fish are selected for their genetics, growth rate, and disease resistance. In large tanks, males and females are paired, and within days, thousands of eggs appear, glistening spheres of new life. The fertilized eggs are collected, incubated, and transferred into nursery tanks, where they hatch into tiny fry barely visible to the naked eye. These fragile fry are then nurtured under watchful eyes. They're fed high-protein diets to build strength, and within weeks, they're ready to move into grow-out ponds, vast, man-made ecosystems designed to mimic natural lakes. Here, they'll spend several months growing to market size, feeding mostly on pellets made from soy, corn, or algae-based proteins. Some farms even use recirculating aquaculture systems, or RAS, closed-loop tanks that filter and reuse water continuously, reducing waste and conserving resources. In tropical countries like Indonesia or the Philippines, you'll see farmers raising tilapia in floating cages on lakes and reservoirs, their cages bobbing gently in the sunlight. In China and Egypt, massive pond networks stretch for miles, producing hundreds of tons of fish each year. When the fish reach the ideal weight, usually between 1 and 2 pounds, the harvest begins. Teams of workers draw in the nets, pulling thousands of silver-gray bodies from the water in one synchronized motion. It's a powerful sight, a living harvest, the result of months of care and balance. But the story doesn't end at the pond. The next step is where precision and hygiene take take center stage, the processing plant. Once the fish leave the farm, the journey turns industrial, yet remains incredibly delicate. At processing plants, trucks loaded with live tilapia arrive early in the morning. The goal is simple but critical. Keep the fish alive and calm until the very last moment to ensure top-quality meat. Workers move quickly and quietly. The fish are unloaded into large tanks of oxygenated water, their temperature lowered gradually to reduce stress. From there, modern processing lines take over, systems built for speed, hygiene, and precision. In the filleting halls, stainless steel surfaces glisten under cold white light. Mechanical gutting and scaling machines handle thousands of fish per hour, while skilled technicians inspect each one by hand. Every cut is measured, every motion optimized. The fillets are washed in chilled water, then sent through quality control. Here, inspectors check for texture, color, and consistency. The best pieces move on to grading, destined for export markets in the US, Europe, and beyond. Within hours of harvest, they're vacuum-sealed, flash-frozen, and packed for shipment, preserved in peak freshness. But technology isn't just in the processing line. Artificial intelligence and computer vision are now being used to sort fish by size and detect imperfections invisible to the human eye. Automated feeding systems on farms are guided by sensors that monitor oxygen, pH, and feeding behavior in real time, minimizing waste, maximizing growth. Even the humble pond has evolved into a data-driven ecosystem managed by algorithms and monitored through satellite imagery. From hatchery to harvest, every stage is now optimized, a far cry from the simple hand nets and bamboo cages of the past. Yet behind all this progress, a question lingers. How sustainable is this massive system, and what does it mean for the environment and for the fish themselves? Every successful industry leaves ripples. Tilapia farming, though efficient and affordable, is no exception. Behind the tranquil image of ponds and cages lies a constant struggle, the delicate balance between feeding millions and protecting the ecosystems that make it all possible. Tilapia are remarkably hardy fish, but when raised in dense populations, they can generate large amounts of waste. If farm runoff isn't properly managed, it can lead to nutrient pollution, fueling algal blooms and oxygen depletion in nearby waters. In regions where environmental oversight is weak, entire lakes have been altered by years of intensive farming. But the story isn't one-sided. In many countries, new generations of farmers are rewriting the playbook. Modern farms use biofiltration systems, natural bacteria, and aquatic plants that clean the water before it returns to the environment. Others are adopting integrated aquaculture, where tilapia waste becomes fertilizer for rice or vegetable crops, creating a closed-loop system that mimics nature. Even the fish feed is evolving. Researchers are replacing traditional fish meal with soy, algae, and insect protein, reducing the strain on wild fisheries that once supplied the industry. In a sense, tilapia has become a test case for what sustainable aquaculture can look like in the 21st century. But sustainability isn't just about the environment. It's also about people, the millions of workers and small farmers whose livelihoods depend on these ponds. In countries like Egypt, tilapia farms support entire communities, providing jobs, food, and a sense of purpose. For many rural families, this fish is more than just income. It's survival. Still, as demand grows and industrial production scales up, the challenge remains. Can we keep tilapia both affordable and ethical? Can a fish that feeds billions also protect the planet it depends on? Walk through a morning fish market in Manila, Nairobi, or Sao Paulo, and you'll see it everywhere. Piled high on ice, glistening under fluorescent lights, tilapia has become one of the world's most democratic foods. It's cheap enough to feed low-income families, yet clean and mild enough to serve in high-end restaurants. This dual identity, humble yet global, is what makes tilapia unique. In many developing nations, it's more than just food. It's an economic pillar. killer. In China, the world's largest producer, tilapia exports generate billions each year and support tens of thousands of small farmers. In Egypt, tilapia has become a national staple, providing nearly 70% of the country's farmed fish and helping reduce dependence on imported protein. And across Africa and Latin America, governments promote tilapia farming as a path to food security, a way to lift rural communities out of poverty. Behind every pond lies a story of families working side by side, feeding fish before dawn, maintaining nets, and hoping for a good harvest. For many, it's a cycle of resilience. They don't just raise fish, they raise futures. Even in the West, tilapia plays a quiet but powerful role. It's become a staple in U.S. grocery stores and restaurants, valued for its versatility and low environmental footprint compared to beef or pork. Every fillet on a dinner plate represents an intricate web of labor, logistics, and livelihoods that stretch across oceans. But where does it all go from here? As global demand continues to rise, will tilapia remain a symbol of affordable nutrition, or will industrial expansion test its limits? Let's look toward the horizon, the future of this remarkable industry. As the world's population surges past 8 billion, one question looms large. How do we feed everyone without destroying the planet? For many scientists and policymakers, tilapia represents part of that answer. A species that grows fast, eats little, and thrives in water systems that can be made sustainable. It's efficient, one of the most protein-rich foods per unit of feed and water on Earth. But the next generation of tilapia farming won't look like the ponds we've seen. It's heading indoors. Across Asia and North America, urban aquaculture is emerging. Massive facilities that raise tilapia inside climate-controlled warehouses using recirculating systems. Every drop of water is filtered, reused, and tracked by sensors. Every fish's health is monitored by AI-powered cameras. These farms can operate in the heart of a city, producing fresh, local fish with almost zero environmental runoff. Researchers are also experimenting with selective breeding and genetic mapping to create strains of tilapia that grow faster and resist disease naturally, reducing the need for antibiotics or chemical treatments. And as technology advances, even small farmers will benefit from these innovations, accessing mobile apps that track feed schedules, water chemistry, and market prices in real time. But technology alone can't define the future. The true evolution lies in how we value the fish itself and the systems around it. Will we see tilapia as just a cheap protein source, or as a model of balance between people, nature, and innovation? If done right, tilapia could become the blueprint for a new era of aquaculture, one that feeds humanity without costing the earth. Because beneath the surface, tilapia's story isn't just about farming. It's about adaptation, about life thriving in unexpected places, and about how, with care and intention, even the simplest creature can help sustain the future of our species. So the next time you see a tilapia fillet on your plate, take a moment to think about where it came from, the ponds, the people, and the innovation that made it possible. This isn't just food. It's the story of survival, ingenuity, and connection between humans and the living world we depend on. Tilapia may never have the prestige of salmon or tuna, but its story runs deeper, a quiet revolution in how we grow, share, and sustain life itself. If you found this journey insightful, give this video a like, share it with someone who loves learning about food and farming, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories like this one. What do you think? Can tilapia truly be the sustainable protein of the future? Let me know in the comments. Your thoughts help shape our next deep dive. Until next time, this is Moody Tale, and thanks for watching.